Hey guys, welcome to the EQ Institute, and recognize your level of crazy when dealing with meditation is today's episode. And with me today, we have my beloved, my level of crazy times 10, Thomas.
Hello everybody.
And our special guest and family member, Jake.
Hello.
And so today we are down south at with Key West, right, guys? This is Key West.
We're the lower Keys, yes, Key West. 10-15 minutes from Key West.
Nice. And we're on a family vacation. It's Jake's dad's birthday, right? I'm sure he'll love to know that he's on this video today.
Yes, happy birthday, Rob.
And so today we were privileged enough to do a quick meditation and a bit of a yoga exercise with Jake this morning, and it was really lovely. And you know, here on the EQ Institute website, we're about resource. You know, we're really about offering people tools on how to recognize and manage the crazy in a world that is not managed, right? But crazy, right? So, you know, it's all about providing amazing tools to help us all. And so let's talk about meditation. Let's get into it. So Jake, tell us a little bit about, you know, who you are and how you got started in meditation.
So how did I get started in meditation? I was a personal trainer living in New York City, and I was helping people with their physical goals, like losing fat, gaining muscle, and then I helped someone out of a depression, which was really like a good feeling for me to help someone on more of a deeper level, I felt. So then that encouraged me to go travel to Asia, and then I learned, kind of sold everything, got rid of everything, left New York, and backpacked in Southeast Asia for 8 months.
Wow.
And I just really wanted to learn about Buddhism, meditation, and yoga, and a little bit more of a deeper meaning of life. But I would say it would even go back further since I was in high school. I had tremendous anxiety, and when I was in high school, and of course when you guys were in high school, no one really talked about anxiety, and it just like wasn't
He just gave us our age.
Good
job. All right, keep going.
Everybody
keep
kind
going.
of masks anxiety.
Yes,
I think,
it's true.
Now
You're
it's more
right.
open, and
You're
people talk about it.
Yes.
But like I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So when I was like 14, I would like experience this thing called depersonalization, where I'm like sitting in class, but like I felt like my soul, I was just like above the classroom looking at my body and just like so detached because I was so scared of a classroom, which is ridiculous. But my system just was if there was like a lion that was in front of me. So so how I dealt with that, actually, I made my first mantra when I was 14. Like, you can call it a mantra or just words on a paper. To me, it wasn't a mantra. It was just what I felt I must do. And I put the words like smile, laugh, and act. Because, like, for me, when in high school, it was important for me to try to make everybody laugh and look like I'm happy and smiling all the time. Kind of a weird mantra to fake it, but that's what I did at the time, and that's how I dealt with it. Yeah.
And so what you're saying, you know, and by the way, you guys just talk natural. It's all good. You don't have to like whatever. What you're saying is exactly what we're talking to our audience out there, is that it's up to us to recognize that and then create a system to manage it. And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. So there is no such thing as like the cure or the thing. You know, I know that there's a lot of...
Yeah, everybody has their own
Exactly,
path, and
exactly.
even that, there's a million things you can do. So it's like when you
Exactly.
go and recommend something to someone, like maybe that was just for you
Right.
at that time in that moment. And like if someone's not open for something, that's totally okay. They're gonna figure out what you think is right soon point, or maybe never, and that's okay. Like
Exactly.
we're all in our own worlds, and like
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody has their own things going on and their own medicine.
So would you
yeah.
say that he used that was his level of emotional intelligence at age 14
Right.
to come up with a strategy to deal with
It was just such
his
immense
emotional
suffering that I just
challenges, right?
Yes.
Maybe you would know more. You could explain more about that, Esther.
No, I know that you've always reminded me, to tell the audience about, emotional intelligence, because that's what this whole thing is about.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely right. That's the AKA, what is this level of crazy that we're talking about?
And it can be innate. It's innate in all of us. You're
Right.
trying to wake it up and wake up our awareness about it. Is
Right.
what I think we're trying to do here.
Yes.
Very good.
So very good point. Absolutely. So you're traveling in Asia and you sold all your stuff, which is pretty amazing because a lot of people can't fathom how do you even do that, right? And how did you survive?
traveling through Asia.
Yeah.
Survive? How did I
You didn't have any money,
thrive?
well, yeah, I mean, I guess you sold everything so you had money and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, I had money in my bank account, but
Okay.
yeah, to me it was actually I have a good answer for you.
Okay.
Honestly, I was really guided from God or some other beings and higher powers because I always had money in my bank account. When I lost it all, people gave me money and people like donated money and said travel longer, do this, go there. And it was actually amazing. I went out with like $5,000 for 8 months, but somehow it just kept increasing, and I got free places to stay and free flights. So, yeah, that would be a fair answer to your question.
Yeah.
How did I survive?
Yeah.
Like I think things,
You were just
beings have just
guided.
taken care of me because
Yeah.
I was open and ready to receive something
Right.
that I was ready for.
And on this channel, and the whole concept is to definitely talk about God, to know that we're not here alone. There's no way we could do this alone.
Yeah.
And so that's amazing what you're saying. And I think also from a practical perspective, a lot of people were probably really inspired by what you were doing and kind of were living vicariously through you, and probably were giving you money because they were like, go do that thing because I can't, but you go do that thing. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's get into more of the meditation aspect of this.
Yeah.
So I really want to share with people, a quick tool that they can use if they're stressed, because stress is one of our most challenging things, because everything is about emotional intelligence, right? About emotions and how do we manage those suckers. So let's get into that. Where would you say was the first principle of meditation? Because I know there's so many different types of meditations and yogas and all these different things. So before we actually get into the tool, what would you say from your knowledge was the most impactful for you? Because I'm sure you saw a bunch of different ones. So if you want to give that information so people can go look for that.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the tool.
What is the most impactful method?
Style.
Yeah.
Yeah, style method.
I would say the yoga that I've been taught by my yoga teacher, who follows a lineage from Krishnamacharya. I learned from a yoga teacher named Mark Whitwell, who's based in New Zealand, and he learned from Krishnamacharya's son, Desikachar. So yeah, basically there's this thing called the 5 basic principles of practice, but if I were to just shorten it a little for today's little meditation tips, I would just use the first principles, and yeah, we can go from there. That's what I'd really suggest.
So what's the name of it if somebody wants to go find it?
Yeah, it's called I guess Krishnamacharya's teachings, the 5 basic principles of practice. If you search that, I'm sure you can find that online. The Heart of Yoga is a book by his son, by Desikachar. It's a great book to start yoga. It's like, create your own classes and listen to your body. It's a beautiful book, The Heart of Yoga by Desikachar.
The Heart of Yoga.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll put it down in the comments and whatever. Okay, cool. All right. So,
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you really define the word yoga? I've often heard, different things about it. So I'd like to hear your viewpoint of how you would define the word yoga. What does it actually mean?
Yeah, it's a cool question because there's like just so much to impact, and it depends how short of an answer you want.
Maybe just a brief summary,
Yeah.
like just something about.
So the
Google it, Tom.
the
Google
physical
it.
practice.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm
the
just
thing was that
kidding.
most people think of yoga as
He
physical
just
practice.
Googled it.
Yeah, I got it back here. I know what it is. No, but most
Yeah.
people think of it as physical practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there may be some more depth to that maybe we can
Yeah.
share with the audience.
And if
that
you
would
think
help
of it
us.
as a physical practice, you can say asana practice.
Okay.
If you think of it yoga as strictly asana practice, then all it really is combining movement with breath. That's it. Yeah, it's no fancy schmancy yoga poses that you have to contort your body into a specific position so we all look alike, a specific shape. Like it's just connecting breath with body movement, union. It's like combining these two different energies. You can think of it as yin and yang or feminine and masculine, inhale and exhale, Langana and Brahmana. There's so many different ways to say it, but that would be how I sum up asana practice, is union, bringing it together.
And that's used to balance out the physical body, physical, emotional, spiritual, mind, body, soul kind of connection, or that's just physical?
Like what the goal of yoga is to attain this union, can be said. But then there's other scriptures that say yoga's goal is to get ready for meditation. So according to my teacher, the correct order is yoga, moving, pranayama, breathing, and then meditation. Yeah, so we're gonna do a little meditation, but I would say just move a little before you sit down and do meditation, because it's part of a seamless process. You're not really supposed to separate things, I believe, and so do my teachers. So do a little yoga and then quiet yourself down to sit. Because if you ever say, I'm gonna meditate and just sit down, it's very difficult. In Zen Buddhism, they don't really call it meditation, they call it sitting. They're just gonna sit. What are we doing? We're just sitting. And that detaches your mind from all outcomes that you may wanna get, right? I wanna feel this bliss. But if you go into it and say, I'm gonna meditate, and I'm so excited, you have to detach from that part of the mind that wants something. So yeah, so just today's goal for meditation or yoga, just to do meditation or yoga, like no strings attached.
One more question.
Yeah.
One more question. I promise not too many more. So what's the goal of meditation?
I would say, from what I understand, to achieve nirvana or samadhi, which is like the end goal of yoga, to achieve this state of being. But sorry, I wouldn't say this. Let me think for a sec. A lot of people would say that. What's the goal of yoga? It's a fun question. What's the goal of meditation?
You said
Well,
the
yeah,
goal
we're
of
talking about yoga
meditation.
and
Well,
meditation.
I can tell you what I think it is.
Okay.
You know, based on what I've been doing, and also I wanted to mention, and this might be in step with what you're speaking about, is that when I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, this was back in the day when I first found emotional intelligence at that workshop, which was the awakening the unleash the giant within, or whatever it was. I don't even remember it right now. It was a massive conference in Dallas, and one of the things that he discussed with us was physiology and psychology. And what that was is that when you're feeling down, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling all these emotions, the best way to get yourself out of it is to move. And that is so true, because anytime I am sad or I'm feeling disconnected from myself or off balance, I go take a walk. And we've talked about this a lot, you know. I take a walk, I go into nature, I get myself moving. Or if we have a disagreement, or if I'm having a dysfunction in something, my creativity is stuck, I go move. And it's through that movement is where all the energy starts to flow again. And so for me, meditation has really become a form of this unstuckness,
so
right?
I would say it could be different for a lot of people. Like if you ask a Buddhist monk that's meditating for 30 years in Thailand, what's the goal of meditation? He'll be that answer that I initially said, to achieve nirvana, to achieve Buddhahood, or like to become a bodhisattva, but from what I learn, what is the goal of yoga? Like I try not to have any goal. I just try not to kind of get into that really powerful question. What is the goal? Just to practice, just to practice. Many things may come, probably will come, but you don't tell the mind that. So in my opinion, yoga is not a process of getting somewhere, right? Like, oh, I'm not flexible, I have to do yoga to get more flexible. Like, from what I've learned, what I believe, that is not the goal.
But
Yoga
I think you're speaking more from the emotions. Like,
Well,
what
no,
is
I
the
think
goal
I'm
in
not
terms
just
of calming
emotion.
down
No.
and not being
No,
stressed?
actually, no, that's not my question. My question was maybe meditation to me is more connecting to source, the source that creates everything.
The goal or a byproduct?
Well, I think the goal, like yoga to me, is the whole process is to get you back to the present, in the moment, in this actual moment that you're existing in, in each moment. And then when you're in the moment, I think we have then the opportunity to really connect with what is the energy of source,
Right.
what creates everything in this earth and this planet and the universe.
And understand, that is the ultimate goal.
Okay,
But
what you're
how-
calling nirvana,
What you said, you just said it differently. I would say that's how you bring it down, like to achieve this, how you said it so nicely.
yes, this connection to source,
Beautiful.
connection to who we really are.
And if you
To
ask
get all this
someone
physical, and
Sorry.
this physical illusion to kind of
Yes.
dissipate, so we can be present with who we are and what we're really doing here, and to reconnect on that level, because in this energy of this physical realm, we're always dealing with these lower energies. We can get our energies kind of gunked up and pushed around, and we might lose touch with what we're really supposed to be doing. So it seems like yoga, meditation, always can bring us back to, okay, what are we supposed to be doing? What is really in our highest and best good?
Yeah.
That was really what I was hoping,
Yeah.
like trying to, for me,
Beautiful.
that's the way I interpret it, but I'd like to hear it from others and how they look at this,
Right.
And to the everyday person that maybe has a meditation app or just a few minutes every day, maybe their goal is to
Detach.
like it's smaller,
Even
like just to get a good exercise,
Okay.
or just to be healthy, or for my digestive system.
Sure.
And then that eventually, hopefully, may lead them to a larger, beautiful, ultimate goal.
Okay.
Right. So
Got
it
I got it.
can
Baby
get
steps.
people
like baby steps
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
to whatever, to this.
Like they
ultimate
may
goal.
not see the ultimate goal of yoga, but it called them. They're practicing. One day they may realize yoga is deeper and more
profound in what you can achieve with
maybe
with the
they're
work.
just doing it for exercise
Yeah,
at
it's a
first.
good start.
Okay, beautiful.
Fine.
You're doing
Great.
it.
All
Nice,
good.
amazing.
Yes,
And
all
then that
good.
was really well said. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think just to bring it all together, I think that's really what is my mission here, is to actually get to that point, to get the people to understand that is exactly what it's for. It's for this ultimate purpose, right? But it's also on a very basic level of calming ourselves down, because at the end of the day right now we're just talking about recognize and manage your level of crazy, which is why we're doing all these different exercises, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it's taking a walk in nature, whatever it is, it's all designed for us to calm ourselves down and to reset and restart. So you're both, we're all speaking the same language. It's just how do we get there, right?
And beautifully put, how do we get there? As like Patabi Joyce, a yoga teacher, says, yoga is 1% theory and 99% practice. So even if you're bored or don't understand anything we're saying, maybe we don't even understand what we're saying. We're just for the moment we are.
Right.
That's okay, because
Well, I don't know
actually,
about you guys. I know exactly what I'm saying.
So it's about the practice. It's about how can you get there? What's like an actual tantra or just exercise or movement that you can do to feel these ideas?
Right.
And then I would suggest do some breathing.
Yeah.
Pranayama,
Okay.
yoga.
Yeah. So let's get into that. Any other questions before we get into that?
I'm good.
Okay. Any last thoughts? All right, good. All right. So, guys, so Jake's going to give us a couple of steps here. So let's focus this one on if we can have an intention.
Okay.
Let's say someone is stressed, they're having a rough day, they want to fall asleep, or maybe they're still at the office and they just want to reset their energy. So what can you offer us? And if you like, we'll do some exercise with you. It's up to you.
Yeah, I can guide you too, and I can do it as well.
Okay. You want to hold
just
this?
Just for a few minutes, yeah?
Okay.
What do you suggest?
Yeah, you can just hold it. You can put it on your lapel there.
Okay. So I would suggest just starting with the Ujjayi breath and deep breathing. 2 simple things we can all do, because as long as you have the breath, you can do yoga. No fancy poses. So the Ujjayi breath comes from the base of the throat, and the main goal is to hear the breath. So it's like, yeah, as long as you can listen to the breath, doing it correctly. Inhale from the nose, exhale from the nose. So once we can hear the breath, the first principle of practice is the inhale is from above and the exhale is from below. So the inhale, the chest expands, the rib cage expands, the heart opens. And then the exhale, the abdomen flexes slightly. So it's like pushing out the air a little. Basic breath. My teacher says simple yet powerful. It's very simple. We can all do this breath. Whether you're in a bed, you're in a hospital, or you're in a wheelchair, we can all do the breath. We can all do yoga. Yoga is not challenging asana. It does not have to be. Exhale from the belly. And honestly, we can just cut it there. Do that for 5 minutes. Just guide yourself every time the mind travels and wanders. What's for breakfast tomorrow? Just bring it back to this breath. No judgment when the mind moves and travels. No judgment. Bring in the breath, bring in the mind back to the inhales and the exhales. And there's been a lot of scientific research over the past 5-10 years of it being connected to the vagus nerve when you exhale deeper. It's another one. You can also, exhales can be twice as long as the inhales, but I recommend first just keep the inhales just as long as the exhales. They're a mirror to each other. Same qualities, same lengths. That's it. And that's a pranayama. It's a very simple pranayama. And that's it. Yeah.
So, it's interesting. That felt really good. Did that feel good, Tom?
Yeah, I went right out. I was drifting all over the place. I forgot I was even here. Tom! I'm back.
And before we close, there was, I wanted to share, it's interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I was a little stressed about something and I was in a hurry. I was running late. And I did something I normally don't do. Normally I'm in my mind about, oh my God, I'm rushing, I'm late, and I start going into movies about the person, they're gonna be upset, whatever. But instead, I went into breathing. And I just was like, and I just kept doing that as I was finishing up the work, as I was putting my things together, as I was shutting down the office. I was doing everything I had to do to get out of there. And you know what? It felt amazing. And so I would recommend that, that's another tool, guys. It all goes back to what we're talking about here: meditation, yoga, breathing. All goes back to the same thing, to really calm ourselves, to really stay within that, because you can't control traffic, you can't control anything outside of us, and getting upset and getting angry is only going to make things worse. So what can you control? The breath. And I actually got there on time. Everything was perfect and it was amazing.
Nice.
Very good example.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
With that, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
For gracing us with your presence. And thank you, Thomas, as always.
You're welcome.
Supporting. So we always finish with a beautiful quote that both of us have created. So I'll let you go first. And any final thoughts before we close?
Yeah, actually, yeah. We were thinking of like some questions to ask earlier, and if I were to say a similar situation, what happens where I do what? Like something that could be stressful. Like the past month, I've been really thinking about death. I'm not too sure why, but I'm not really fighting it. Kind of a
Love
little.
how everybody says that word. Death. There's an exclamation point right behind it.
And last night, I was having like trouble sleeping because my mind's really on this subject.
Well, maybe you should stop thinking about death.
Instead of pushing away the thoughts, like I was gonna get up and do some yoga and breathing and check in with myself, but instead I had a beautiful chat and vented to my wife in bed, and that is yoga too.
Exactly.
Yoga isn't just asana. Yoga is this kind of philosophy, and it's just this, like, the ability. I guess the intuition. No, just trying to find words. Do you make pauses on this?
No.
No, you're live.
Oh, okay.
Live, baby,
Well,
live.
that's okay because this is thinking.
Yes.
And I think thinking should be captured on camera more because
Yes.
it encourages people to do that. Like you don't have to have cuts.
Yeah.
But I won't say the stock because I can't think of it.
Well, I think what you're saying is beautiful, and it's just another tool, which is communication and really having a trusted source
Yeah.
to speak to. And that's a beautiful thing that you have that
And that's
option.
just as great as
Yeah.
getting up and going to yoga.
Exactly.
That's just, it did the trick. I
Yeah.
didn't have to do some moving.
Right.
And that's yoga too, is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, but don't know how to articulate it.
You said it perfectly. So thank you so much again.
Thank you. What's your quote?
And our quote is, I'll let Tom start.
Well, we reveal to heal, and when we know better, we do better, and we learn by doing.
And what we resist persists, no?
Well, that's
you
an
already
additional
say
one.
that one?
I'm trying to stick to 3, not to overload the audience.
okay,
But all right,
'cause
we resist, we persist. Right. We resist, persists. We reveal to heal. When we know better, we do better, and then we learn by doing. Okay.
He's such a Leo moon. All right, anyway.
I was trying to cut it short there. You dragged that
What
on.
does
It's all
reveal to
good.
heal mean?
Well, it's a term, right? Think about it. What if even by doing yoga, by stopping
okay.
and listening,
Opening your eyes.
yeah, and revealing what's going on.
Right.
Because we're not always, because when we're caught up in our
Beautiful.
physical world and distracted by everything, we can't even see what's actually going on.
Beautiful.
So we have to reveal it
Right.
in order to heal it.
Like I think yoga is having a bookshelf and shaking it up and putting the books all on the ground. Now you revealed it. It's up to you to put the books back
That's
neatly
a great
and,
analogy.
and nicely.
It's a great
I
analogy.
like that.
Reveal to heal.
Yes. Good.
Nice.
Shake up your bookshelf
Right.
and put them back.
That's
Organize your
great.
bookshelf.
That's great. It's a very good analogy.
Yeah, and the resist,
like
what
that.
you resist
Reveal to
persists. If you resist putting those things back together, that's going to persist in your
Right.
world. It's going to be a bit
Right.
of chaos in your world.
Right.
That's going to stop you from maybe being optimal.
What you resist persists.
Yes.
All right, well, that turned
Well, I
into
didn't
a
know we-
beautiful quote explanation,
We
which
could
is all
dive
good.
deep
This
on
is
it.
all golden nuggets, guys, all golden nuggets. So with that, when you know and understand yourself, the world will know and understand you too. And remember, what's the best that can happen? What's the best that can happen?
You can say it, Wes. Want to do it one more time?
Yeah, ready?
Ready?
Just follow along. Ready?
Yeah. And remember.
And remember, what's the best that can happen?
That's just a phrase that has
Will happen.
What's the best
That can happen.
That's it.
Period.
That's
That's
it.
it. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and we wish you a blessed, wonderful day.
Yes.
Thank you.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.